Beginning, the crash and the forest of light. The sky of Epsilon Prime was never meant for humans. It shimmered in impossible colors, a million hues of silver, blue, and emerald shifting like liquid glass. Commander Elias Vance had seen alien worlds before, but none like this. His shuttle was breaking apart as it entered the upper atmosphere, warning lights painting the cockpit blood red. He barely had time to curse before the ship spiraled downward in a streak of burning metal. The last thing he saw before blacking out was the luminous canopy of a vast forest glowing beneath him, every tree pulsing faintly like a heartbeat. When he woke, silence surrounded him. His head pounded, his arm burned, but he was alive. Elias crawled from the wreckage and stared in disbelief. The forest was alive with light. The trees glowed with bioluminescent veins, their leaves humming softly with electric energy. Strange orbs floated lazily in the air, drifting between silver trunks. He was a soldier, a trained explorer of the interstellar frontier, but in that moment, he felt like a trespasser in a temple. And then, he heard it. A faint, pained cry. It wasn't human. Elias followed the sound through the forest until he found her. A figure half buried beneath crystal-like roots, her body bruised and shimmering with faint, opalescent skin. She looked human at first glance until she opened her eyes. They weren't eyes so much as twin galaxies, infinite and deep, with stars swirling in the iris. She tried to move, but pain shuddered through her. A jagged shard of metal was lodged in her side. Elias knelt, pressing his hand to her wound. "Stay still. I'm going to help you." Her breathing quickened. She looked at him with both fear and wonder. "You're human?" "Yes," he said, ripping fabric from his sleeve to make a bandage. "You're lucky I found you." Her lips trembled, forming words in a strange melodic accent. Lucky, or chosen. He thought she was delirious from pain. But the way she looked at him as if she had waited lifetimes sent a strange chill through his spine. Middle, the healing and the connection. Over the next few days, Elias built a makeshift camp among the glowing trees. His comms were dead, and the ship's distress beacon was fried. He had no way to contact the fleet. But he wasn't alone. The alien woman, whose name he learned was Lyara, healed slowly under his care. Her blood shimmered faintly, silver in the dim light. She spoke little, watching him with quiet intensity. Elias tried to keep things professional, focusing on survival, rationing supplies, scouting for water, keeping the fire alive. But Lyara fascinated him. She seemed to understand the forest, touching the trees and listening as if they whispered to her. Sometimes, the ground would pulse with light wherever her fingers brushed. "Your planet, it's alive," he said one evening. "It listens," Lyara whispered. "The roots carry memories. Every breath, every death, every love. You step on ancient stories, human." He smiled faintly. "Elias. My name is Elias." She tilted her head, the corners of her mouth curving slightly. "Elias. It sounds kind." He didn't know what to say to that. The fire between them crackled softly, reflecting in her eyes like starlight trapped in water. But her body wasn't healing as fast as it should have. Each night, she grew weaker, even as he tended to her. Her skin lost its glow. Until one night, as he sat by her side, she reached for his hand. "Your touch, it helps," she murmured. "The stars inside me listen to yours." He blinked. "What do you mean?" Lyara smiled faintly, her fingers trembling as they brushed his wrist. "Every being has a resonance, a frequency that the stars remember. Yours sings to mine." Elias laughed softly. "You're saying I'm your cosmic match?" Her gaze didn't waver. "You think the stars make mistakes?" He stopped laughing. Her voice carried a quiet conviction, something sacred. That night, as he fell asleep beside her, he dreamed. He saw visions, flashes of galaxies, of twin suns burning in orbit, of two figures standing hand in hand on a mountain of light. When he awoke, Liara was looking at him. "You saw it," she whispered. Elias froze. "How do you know?" "Because I dreamed it too," she said softly. "It's how our kind find the ones the stars choose." The truth of her kind. Days passed, and Elias began to understand more of Liara's world. Her people, the Veyari, were not conquerors or nomads. They were listeners, a race that lived in communion with the stars themselves. They believed that every soul was born under a constellation that dictated its twin, its opposite and equal. "Most never find their starbound one," she said one evening as rain shimmered around them in streaks of glowing blue. "The galaxies are wide, and time cruel. But when two meet, the cosmos rejoices." Elias tried to stay skeptical. He was a man of science, not myth. Yet, when Liara's eyes met his, when she smiled with that quiet sadness, he felt something ancient stir within him, something deeper than logic. Then, on the sixth night, the forest began to sing. A low, melodic hum filled the air, vibrating through the ground. Liara gasped, struggling to stand. "They found me." "Who?" Elias asked, gripping his rifle. "The hunters," she whispered. "They serve the warlord. They want the last listener dead." Elias didn't hesitate. He grabbed his weapon, helping her to her feet. The forest erupted in motion, shadows moving swiftly between trees, eyes gleaming red. Blaster fire lit the night. Elias took cover, firing back, adrenaline surging. Liara's breath hitched as she pressed her hands to the ground. The earth glowed beneath her palms. Vines burst from the soil, wrapping around the attackers. She turned to him, her voice trembling with power. "Elias, if I die, the stars will dim. But if I live, the war can end." "Then you're not dying," he said, pulling her close as explosions rocked the clearing. They fought as one, human and alien, fire and light. And when the last hunter fell, silence returned to the glowing woods. Liara collapsed, exhaustion overtaking her. Elias caught her in his arms. Her eyes fluttered open, and she whispered weakly, "You fight like one born under my constellation." Elias brushed a strand of silver hair from her face. "Then maybe your stars knew what they were doing. Ending the choice of the stars." By dawn, her strength had nearly faded. Her wound reopened during the battle, and Elias's medical kit was almost empty. He sat beside her, feeling helpless. "There has to be something." Liara reached up, placing her hand over his heart. "There is. The bond." "What bond?" "If two starbound souls merge, one can give life to the other. But it means giving up your human path. Your light becomes part of mine." He stared at her. "You're asking me to give you my life?" "No," she whispered. "I'm asking you to share it." For a long moment, Elias said nothing. Then he took her hand, pressed it to his chest, and said quietly, "Then take it." Liara's eyes widened, shimmering with tears. "Elias, maybe I was sent here for this," he said. "Maybe your stars really did choose me." Her body began to glow softly at first, then brighter, until the entire forest illuminated around them. He felt a warmth flooding through him, his heart sinking with hers, their breaths becoming one rhythm. The stars above pulsed in time with their heartbeat. When the light finally faded, she lay still but breathing steadily, her color returning. Elias felt different. His veins hummed faintly with silver light.